Good morning, students. So this is our 5th class and we have already covered 40% of this chapter. So in our last class we came to know about the laboratory thermometer and its special features. Yes, we have already discussed its special features. Today we will write down or you will note it in your copy what are the special features of the laboratory thermometer, and after completing that we will today try to start the next section of the chapter, that is the transfer of heat. When I will come to that part, then I will be discussing that the heat transfer takes place in 3 types of process. What are they? It can be in conduction mode. The heat transfer can take place in conduction mode, in convection mode and in radiation mode. So now we will not talk about the transfer of heat. At first, let us write down the special features of laboratory thermometer. Okay. So as you can see, this was the diagram we had for the laboratory thermometer, and over there you can see, unlike from the clinical thermometer, it has a very long range for the measurement of the temperature. So the first point, what we can write? We can write down it has a long range for temperature measurement, and that range is from minus 10 degrees Celsius to 110 degrees Celsius. So already along with this I have told you that laboratory thermometer is much longer than the clinical thermometer, and you can also see that it has a longer range, and that longer range is from minus 10 degrees Celsius to the 110 degrees Celsius, as because for different types of experiments which are carried in the laboratory or in the science laboratory, they need a vast range, they need the measurement of the vast range of temperature. That's why we cannot use the clinical thermometer in laboratories. That's why we need to use the laboratory thermometer. The next one is, you can see it does not has the king what we have in case of clinical thermometer. So the next special feature is it does not has kink. So we can write down it does not has kink. So the measurement should be taken when the thermometer is in contact with the substance or the solution. That means when the bulb of the thermometer is in contact with the substance or the solution, at that time we have to note down the reading, as because the king is not present there. Then the next one, the third feature, the third special feature is the smallest deviation that you can measure with the help of this thermometer is 1 degree Celsius. As you can see that from 0 to 10 degree, there are 10 small divisions. Hence, we can measure the smallest temperature with the help of laboratory thermometer is 1 degree Celsius. So, write it down. The smallest temperature that can be measured with the help of this thermometer is 1 degree Celsius. Is 1 degree Celsius. This is 1. Is 1 degree Celsius. Okay. So with the help of this type of thermometer, we can measure the smallest division. That means the smallest temperature that we can measure is the 1 degree Celsius. And one more special feature, what you can find in laboratory thermometer unlike from the clinical thermometer is this holding notch. As it has a longer range, so if in any experiment the rise of the temperature is above 100 degrees Celsius and you have to keep on holding this thermometer with your hand, then it may you may feel the hotness in the thermometer, or your hand you will feel the pain in your hand. So this notch is given which will help you to hang the thermometer and take the observation without any obstacle. Okay. So the fourth point is the holding notch helps to hang the thermometer for while taking observations for longer time. So the fourth point is what? The holding notch helps to hang the thermometer while taking observations for longer time. So these are the special features of laboratory thermometer. Now you have a set of special features for the clinical thermometer, and similarly you have the set of special features for the laboratory thermometer, and I know from these two sets you can rectify whatever differences you have written for the laboratory thermometer between the laboratory thermometer and the clinical thermometer. So now next we come to our new section, that is the transfer of heat. Though I have already told you a little bit about the transfer of heat, when does the heat transfer takes and from which place to which place it takes, let us take a quick recapitulation of that, and then we will move on to the three modes of transfer of heat. Okay. So before taking the recapitulation, let us write down the definition of transfer of heat. So you write down transfer of heat. So how can it be defined? Write it down. Yes. When heat is carried from one part of an object to another part, or from one object to another object, then it is called transfer of heat. So, how can we define transfer of heat? When heat is carried from one part of an object to another part, or from one object to another object, then it is called transfer of heat. And as I have already told you that this transfer of heat always takes from hot object to the cold object. That means from higher temperature to lower temperature. So write it down. When the transfer of heat will take place? The transfer of heat always takes place from higher temperature to lower temperature. That means whenever there will be temperature difference between 2 points of a same object or between two different objects, then the transfer of heat will take place. And this can take place with the help of any of these three modes depending on the medium. Yes, I will come to the respective medium. So now at first let us write down what are the different modes of transfer of heat. So you write down transfer of heat different modes of transfer of heat. So what are the different modes? Number one is conduction. It always takes in solid. Conduction always takes in solids. Number two, convection. It takes in fluids. In fluids, yes, I will tell you what are fluids. And number three, radiation. Any medium or without medium. So the third mode of transfer of heat is medium independent. This is medium independent. Whether any medium is present, then also the radiation can take place, and if no medium is present, then also the radiation takes place. And let me tell you the example. with the help of radiation, the hotness from sun to the earth, the hotness reaches from sun to the earth. Okay, so radiation is the process which is independent of any medium. Now the convection. Yes, I have already told you the fluids. Then what are the fluids? Write down. Fluids. Anything that can flow are called fluids. Example, water, air, oil. So these all comes under fluids. That means liquid as well as gases. Liquids and as well as gases all together can be called as fluids. Okay. So conduction takes place in solid, convection takes place in fluids, and radiation takes place in any medium. That is, it is medium independent. So for today's class, we will stop here. You just go through whatever we have learned from our first class to this 5th class, and in our next class, I will be discussing all these 3 different modes of transfer of heat separately. Till then, bye bye.